You have to be obsessed. Nothing great is born from half-hearted efforts, from idle dreams or fleeting wishes. To reach the heights, to carve your mark into this world, obsession must be the fuel that drives you. It is not enough to desire. Desire fades, weakens in the face of hardship. But obsession, it is relentless, a hunger that consumes every waking thought, a force that reshapes your mind, your very being. Without it, you are just another shadow, lost among the weak. Obsession is the fire that burns through every obstacle. When others fall away, their will fractured, their dreams abandoned, it is the obsessed who press forward, unyielding. Obsession does not ask for permission, does not seek approval. It commands. Those who are merely interested are left behind, swallowed by the weight of their own doubt. But those who are obsessed rise above, immune to the distractions that shackle the undisciplined. To be obsessed is to be unstoppable. This world favors those with an insatiable hunger, a need that borders on madness. Anything less is weakness, a fleeting spark that dies out before it even begins. To be obsessed is to understand that your goal is not a choice. It is a necessity, a call that rings louder than reason, louder than fear. The obsessed do not wonder, they act. Every moment, every breath is a step closer, a declaration that nothing will stand in their way. This is not just commitment, it is a possession. There is no room for comfort on this path. Comfort is a poison, a softness that weakens the spirit, dulls the edge of ambition. To be obsessed is to reject comfort, to scorn it, to view it as the enemy. Each hardship, each sacrifice becomes fuel for the fire. Comfort is for those who seek only ease, who wish only to exist. But you are here to conquer, and for that, obsession must become your companion, your lifeline. Obsession is a force that demands all of you, every fiber, every thought, every intention. There can be no hesitation, no split focus. Those who dabble in many things achieve nothing. Scattered, lost. But obsession forces clarity, demands that you commit fully, utterly. To be obsessed is to make a pact with yourself, to bind your fate to a single purpose. It is all or nothing. Obsession brings with it a solitude, an isolation from those who cannot understand. Friends, family, those who lack your hunger, they will fall away, lost in the haze of their own mediocrity. But obsession does not mourn. It does not pause. It drives forward, relentless, alone if it must, carrying with it only those who are strong enough to endure. To be obsessed is to walk a path few dare, a path littered with the ruins of those who lack the will to stay. In obsession, there is power, a force that even the universe respects. The world is shaped by those who are consumed, those who know no boundary, no limit. Those who live cautiously are forgotten, but the obsessed carve their names into eternity. The world bends to those who refuse to be denied, who push beyond every wall, every barrier. To be obsessed is to declare war on limitation, to force destiny to yield. Obsession does not flinch, does not falter. Fear is irrelevant, weakness an afterthought. To be obsessed is to look into the abyss and step forward, to embrace the unknown with a ferocity that no one can match. Obsession is not for the faint-hearted, it is a crucible, a test that only the strong can endure. In the heart of obsession lies resilience, a refusal to be broken, a will that cannot be shattered. Each day, each hour, obsession must consume you. It is not something to be harnessed when convenient. It must live within you, as essential as breath. Those who think they can choose when to care, when to push, will forever remain in the shadows. Obsession demands that every moment serves the goal, that every choice, every action is aligned. To be obsessed is to live with purpose, to breathe ambition, to know that there is no other way. Don't bend. Don't water it down. Power is not meant to be diluted, nor should your purpose be softened to appease the masses. Those who mold their ambitions to fit into the narrow confines of acceptance lose themselves, and with that loss comes weakness. To pursue greatness, you must stand rigid, unyielding, immune to the demands of a world that would have you small, ordinary. Bending is for the weak, those who crave approval. But you must hold fast to the core of your obsession, letting it shape you into something that cannot be swayed. Don't try to make it logical. Obsession is a force that transcends reason, a fire that burns outside the bounds of logic. To reduce it, to frame it in simple terms, is to strip it of its power, to turn it into something less. Logic belongs to those who wish to stay safe, who build walls around their ambitions to make them manageable, controllable. But obsession is not for the controlled, it is for the unleashed, for those who are willing to embrace the madness, the drive that knows no bounds. Do not seek to explain it, embrace it fully. Watering it down is the first step to losing it. Those who dilute their purpose, who soften their drive, become hollow echoes of what they could have been. They become shadows, comfortable but empty, safe but powerless. Your obsession is not meant to be manageable, digestible, or palatable to others. It is a force meant to consume, to overwhelm, to demand all that you are. To water it down is to betray it, to betray yourself. Greatness requires purity of purpose, a focus so intense it leaves no room for compromise. Don't edit your own soul to fit the fashion of the day. Trends are for those who lack substance, for the fleeting and the forgotten. The soul knows nothing of fashion. It speaks only in intensity and purpose that withstands the passing whims of the world. Those who change with the tides, who bend to fit in, are forever lost in the sea of mediocrity. Your soul, if it is true, if it is filled with purpose, is something fierce, something immortal. To edit it is to diminish it, to clip the wings of a force meant to soar. Follow your most intense obsessions mercilessly. There is no mercy in greatness, no room for weakness or hesitation. Those who pursue their purpose with restraint, with careful steps, will never achieve anything lasting. Obsession demands brutality, a relentless drive that pushes beyond every boundary, every limitation. To follow your purpose mercilessly is to cut away everything that does not serve it, to pursue it without remorse, without regard for the cost. It is this merciless pursuit that forges strength from weakness. Obsession is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be consuming. Those who seek comfort along the way are not ready for the heights that obsession demands. Comfort is for the weak, for those who wish only to exist, to survive. Obsession requires sacrifice, a willingness to walk through fire without looking back. The obsessed are those who welcome discomfort, who thrive in it, who understand that greatness requires pain, requires suffering. To pursue it is to forsake comfort entirely. Do not let the world tame you. Let your obsession shape you. The world wants control, it wants predictability, it wants you safe, contained. But obsession is a force that breaks free, that defies the boundaries imposed by others. To be tamed is to be defeated, to let the world chip away at your purpose until there is nothing left. Let obsession shape you into something the world cannot contain, something that defies the ordinary. Those who are truly obsessed are untameable, forces that cannot be broken. Do not compromise with mediocrity, it is a poison. To settle, to accept less than what you are capable of, is to poison the core of who you are. Mediocrity is the death of ambition, the slow, quiet surrender of your potential. The obsessed do not settle. They do not accept mediocrity in any form. They push, they fight, they refuse to be content with anything less than what they desire. In obsession, there is no compromise, no middle ground. There's only the relentless pursuit of greatness. Let your obsession consume you, for only in full surrender is there power. Those who hold back, who restrain their drive, weaken themselves. Obsession is not meant to be balanced with other things. It is meant to consume, to become the sole focus, the one driving force. To achieve anything worth having, you must be willing to let go of everything else, to become one with your purpose. Those who are truly obsessed do not dabble, do not waver. They burn with a single-minded intensity that leaves nothing else standing. You have to be obsessed, for only obsession grants the power to break through the walls of mediocrity, to rise above those who merely exist. In obsession lies your strength, your purpose, your path to immortality. Mad is the word for those consumed by one idea, one purpose, one relentless drive. Society labels the obsessed as mad because it fears what cannot be tamed, what cannot be understood in simple terms. Madness is only another name for single-mindedness, for the strength to dedicate oneself entirely to a vision, ignoring the noise of lesser desires. To be obsessed is to be misunderstood, to walk a path where the crowd refuses to follow. But in that madness lies power, a force so focused it defies explanation, so fierce it breaks free from the restraints of ordinary ambition. Madness is a badge of those willing to sacrifice everything for a single goal. The world calls them mad because it lacks the depth to comprehend their dedication. To pursue one purpose with unbreakable resolve is terrifying. To those who cling to comfort, who scatter their energy across countless distractions, the madman sees no need for compromise, no reason to dilute his efforts with anything that does not serve his obsession. He sacrifices everything that does not align with his purpose, and in that sacrifice, he gains a power few will ever know. Madness is a strength that the weak label as dangerous. Those who live without purpose, who drift aimlessly, cannot fathom the intensity of the obsessed. They call it madness because they cannot understand the fire that drives a man who has given himself fully to one idea. It is easier to mock, to judge, to label, than to recognize that they stand in the presence of someone who is broken free from their own limitations. Madness, in the eyes of the weak, is simply the sight of someone unafraid of their own power. The mad are those who have embraced the full weight of their purpose. They do not flinch, do not waver, for they are driven by something far greater than themselves. Obsession has taken root in their minds, and in its embrace they find clarity, focus, a strength that transcends the bounds of reason. The mad do not question their path. They walk it with unyielding determination, heedless of the whispers, the sneers, the doubts of those who lack the will to pursue greatness. They are immune to the judgments of a world that fails to understand the beauty of relentless drive. Obsession and madness are inseparable companions. Where one exists, the other follows a partnership that the ordinary cannot comprehend. To focus on one idea, to let it consume every thought, every breath, is seen as madness by those who lack the courage to do the same. The mad have chosen their path, a path that requires sacrifice, a path that few can endure. In this madness there is freedom, the freedom to live without distraction, without compromise, without the need to appease those who do not share the same fire. Madness is the liberation from mediocrity. Those who are obsessed have escaped the confines of ordinary ambition, breaking free from the chains that bind lesser minds. They are called mad because they refuse to settle, because they demand more from themselves than others can even imagine. The world views their intensity with fear, with confusion, unable to comprehend the power that comes from total dedication. But the mad understand. They know that their purpose is worth every sacrifice, every label, every judgment cast upon them. To be mad is to be free from the noise of the crowd. Madness strips away the distractions, the petty concerns of a life half-lived. The mad have no time for the trivial, no interest in what fails to serve their goal. They move with purpose, each step taken with intent, each action aligned with their obsession. In their madness, they find clarity, a focus so sharp it cuts through the illusions that bind others to mediocrity. The mad are unchained, unleashed, bound only to the pursuit of their vision. In madness, there is an unwavering courage. Those who are obsessed do not fear failure, do not fear the isolation that comes with dedication. They embrace it, understanding that greatness requires solitude, that true power demands separation from the ordinary. The mad are those who have looked into the abyss of their ambition and stepped forward without hesitation. They have chosen their path, and in doing so, they have become unstoppable, fearless, immune to the doubts that plague lesser minds. Madness is the power to defy convention, to ignore the limits that others impose. The mad are those who refuse to play by the rules, who understand that greatness lies beyond the boundaries of normalcy. They reject the expectations of society, choosing instead to forge their own path, a path driven by obsession. To be mad is to embrace the unknown, to walk boldly into the darkness with nothing but the fire of ambition to light the way. It is a strength that few possess, a resolve that cannot be broken. Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Act. Identity is not found in words, in thoughts, in endless contemplation. It is carved through action, through choices that define you in ways that thinking never could. Those who sit idle, who waste their days seeking themselves in reflection, remain shadows, undefined, lacking shape or strength. To know yourself, you must move, you must do. You must leave a mark upon the world. Action is the only mirror that shows who you truly are, unfiltered and raw. Action is the crucible that burns away illusion. In the heat of doing, there is no room for pretense, no space for the comfortable lies that keep you weak. It's easy to imagine yourself strong, disciplined, relentless until you are tested. But action reveals the limits of your resolve, exposes the gaps in your strength. Those who act with purpose are stripped bare, left only with what is real, with what endures. Identity built on anything less is as hollow as a whisper in the dark. There is no self without action. It is what shapes you, molds you, transforms you. Reflection alone keeps you stagnant, locked in a cycle of endless pondering that serves only to waste time. To act is to break free from the prison of your own thoughts, to step boldly into the unknown. Only through action do you find the edges of your character, the boundaries of what you can endure. Your choices, your deeds, they are the raw material of identity, forged into something solid only by the hammer of relentless action. Act without hesitation, without waiting for the perfect moment. Those who wait are left behind, forever chasing the shadow of what they might have been. To act is to seize power, to take control, to become the driving force in your own life. Inaction breeds weakness, feeds doubt, gives rise to a version of you that is too afraid to step forward. Only action builds confidence, the unbreakable belief that who you are is defined by what you do. Action is the language of power, the expression of purpose. Words and intentions mean nothing without movement, without the bold steps that bring them to life. Those who act are forces of nature, beings of consequence, who do not wait for permission to leave their mark. To act is to refuse the comfort of obscurity, to declare that your presence will be felt. Identity is earned through every action, every decision, a tapestry woven only by those brave enough to move. Every choice, every action leaves a scar, a memory, a piece of you in the world. Those who never act remain blank, untouched by experience, undefined by purpose. Action is the chisel that carves your essence from the stone of potential, each strike a step closer to becoming something real, something formidable. To act is to commit, to make choices that cannot be undone, to walk paths that cannot be erased. It is in these choices that your identity is forged, solid and undeniable. The world does not care for those who linger, who wait for self-discovery without paying the price. Identity demands action, for it is only in doing that you become more than a shadow. Action burns away hesitation, forges discipline from desire, and shapes a person who is defined not by thoughts, but by deeds. To act is to step into the arena to face the challenges that will either break you or make you. Those who act do not wonder who they are. They know, for every action defines them. Inaction is the enemy of identity, the slow decay of potential. To wait is to erode, to dissolve in the mediocrity of indecision. But action, it is the antidote, the weapon that cuts through uncertainty. To act is to lay claim to who you are, to take ownership of your life, to refuse the passivity that keeps so many lost. Through action, you build an identity so strong, so unshakable, that no doubt can touch it. This is the path of those who are not afraid to make themselves real. Action is the only measure of character, the only proof of who you are. It is easy to imagine strength, to picture discipline in the quiet of the mind. But those who are truly strong are those who have faced their fears, who have acted even when their will wavered. To act is to risk, to put yourself on the line, to become vulnerable to the consequences of your choices. In this risk, in this vulnerability, you find strength that cannot be faked. If you don't know what you want, you will be told what you want. Those who lack purpose are easily manipulated, shaped by the whims of others. The world is filled with voices eager to define you, to tell you who you are and what you should seek. Without a clear desire, a burning obsession, you are vulnerable, prey to those who would use your aimlessness for their own ends. A hollow mind will be filled by the desires of others, and once filled, you will believe that those desires are your own. Purpose is armor. Without it, you are exposed. A life without purpose is a puppet's existence. If you fail to seize control of your mind, someone else will. Every decision, every belief will be shaped by outside forces, molding you into something unrecognizable. Those who live without knowing what they want are led, manipulated by the invisible hands of others who thrive on control. Without direction, you drift, and in that drifting, you are shaped by forces beyond your sight. The world does not care for those who are lost. It devours them. Indecision is the invitation for manipulation. Those who are undecided, who wander without purpose, are guided by the desires of others. Without an anchor, you are pulled into currents not of your own making, believing that each shift, each turn, is your own will. The world will gladly tell you what you want, who you are meant to be, if you give it the chance. But those who know their purpose stand firm, unmoved, immune to the whispers that seek to sway them. In aimlessness there is weakness, a void that demands to be filled. Without a goal, without an obsession, the emptiness inside you will seek meaning, and the world is all too willing to provide it. They will dress you in ideals that are not your own, hand you dreams that serve only their agenda. To live without purpose is to live as an instrument, a tool for those who wield their own desires with precision. Purpose is the shield that protects you from this fate, the line that keeps you from becoming a pawn. When you lack desire, your soul is vacant, open to be claimed by any force with the will to command. You will be told what success is, what happiness looks like, and you will follow it blindly, convinced it is what you sought all along. Those who do not define their own path are bound to walk the paths of others, paths paved with the desires of those who know their power. Without obsession, without a clear purpose, you are destined to become a reflection of someone else's will. Purpose defines. Without it, you are undefined, a canvas for others to paint upon. The world does not respect those without a goal, without a clear, unyielding intent. If you cannot say what you want, someone else will say it for you, and that desire will take root, grow, and consume you. Your pursuit of greatness is a threat to those who have given up. They have settled, surrendered to a life of mediocrity, and your relentless drive reminds them of everything they could have been. They cannot bear to watch someone do what they once dreamed of, to witness someone live without the restraints that hold them back. So they turn their envy into resentment, their fear into judgment, telling you that your path is reckless, selfish. But know this, their words are the chains of their own making.